Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and you haven't seen one of these spreadsheets in a while, but you know I have to dig them out for this one. We're talking about just the draft booster box of just Double Masters 2022 edition, and I got the price lined up here, price lined up there. I don't really care to get into the math. I'll kind of explain it on the fly a little bit. Plus, I don't want to give away the exact formula, but just assume that my calculations are correct here because they historically have been. I've been doing this for a very long time. So these are the mythic values right here. Starts at 300, you got a $100 card, and then it goes down, but when does it lower below the cost of a pack? I would say right below about here, because remember, there's 2 per pack, 2 rares or mythics, or 2 rares or 2 mythics. 10 plus the other card you should maybe have. I mean, it's $14 per booster. We'll just say 15. So, I mean, just visually you can see that's about half. It's a little over half. So if you pull a mythic, you've got a pretty good chance of paying for the whole pack with it. So that's cool. Now the average actually is $30.64. That's nutty. Okay, that's pretty dang high. So these 2 jackpots here are kind of throwing it off. It's what do they call that? Like it throws off the standard deviation or makes it higher. Let's just change them both to $5. There it goes, $10. So unless you pull these 2, one of these 2 or both, basically you can pretend that number's a 20. So unless you hit the jackpot, but then it evens out because you could pull 2, 3, or 4, or 5, you know? The way I would state it with variance is that if you open 1,000 boxes, yeah, include these, you're going to pull almost a very predictable number of them. And if you open 1 box, oh, you better pull these. It's hit or miss. Otherwise, there goes all of your mythic average value to the point where it's so unlikely to happen you might as well not count it. It's kind of like, well, if the Powerball hits 1.8 billion, you've got like, what, a 3-to-1 advantage over the money you put into it? But the return on investment is being thrown off by the jackpot on top. If you don't consider that because there's no way you're going to hit it, it's a terrible investment. I think you've got like a 90% chance of losing your ticket. Now here's the weird part I wanted to throw in before we get into the rares. There are 40 unique mythics in here, 120 rares, 81 uncommons, and I think it's actually 90 commons. I think 91. One of them is the land. I'm not sure how they counted that. I didn't see it in the list, but allegedly the denominator for the calculation on percentages and like print densities per card is 624. That you just take one of these, 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these. Because mythics are printed at half the individual per card prevalence as the others. Now, 40 cards per sheet is not at all how that works. So they would have had to probably either put drop cards, which they tend to not because they tend to show up in packs. Also, not every facility can do those from what I heard. They would have to double up, I think, what is it, 12 of them? How many are on a sheet? 52, I think? Is that the number? That doesn't sound right because normally there's 15 mythics, but I don't remember how many on a sheet, but I'm pretty sure it's not 40. Which means that these might not have even odds. There might be twice as many of just these to get to the number. They doubled up on the sheet, you know? Could be, just saying. So it is not normal to have 120 rares and 40 mythics and then 81 uncommons and 91 commons. That's not normal. So this is not normal to have more of these than that. It usually goes, I think, 15, 52, 70... 110? That doesn't sound right, but that's about what it is in like a 282 unique card set. So, you know, a standard set from 4 years ago. So this being a reprint set and these numbers being so weird, but then there being 2 on the top, you know, for each, and it gets a little weird. That's why these numbers are a little shaky, but they should be at least close. So the rare average, I mean, you can look at how quickly this falls off. I mean, look at this. Jeez. It just keeps going. I told you there's 120. Look at these 35s. It's so bad. All of these lost money, lost money, lost money, lost money. Maybe made money a pair. Depends if you pulled another one. So all of these are you lose, and then these are you win right here. Rough math puts that at about 25%, and then you get 2 of them, and then you might get a mythic. So obviously I'm going to combine and average it and all that, but the average rare is only 534. So if you open 2 just dead average rares, representative rares from the middle or 1 high, 1 low, whatever, you are still not going to pay for the $14 pack. So it's all leaning on the foils and the mythics, which is not good because that's where the highest variance is. And also we don't know which, if any of these were duplicated, etc. So what is the slot average? Because for every individual mythic, every individual rare is printed at double the prevalence, which is why we have 2 columns. It's just easier for me to do it that way. 873. So that does kind of bring it up. I mean, if there's 2 rares or mythics, so that's why I call it the rare slot average, per pack, you get 873 times 2, which is just a little bit above it before we even count the foils. So then we've got, what is the, actually I don't remember what's under here. Oh yes, the percentage chance that your foil, each individual one single foil, will be a mythic or rare instead of an uncommon or common, because it can be all four, any of the four. 44.87%, and a normal set it's like 21. So that seems suspicious to me, to say the least. So what is the weighted foil rare slot value? So in other words, we're going to ignore any kind of value from foil commons or foil uncommons because they're terrible. Also, I just put a blanket 130% as a multiplier for the foil difference compared to the non-foil. Usually it's 140%, but the collector's boosters have really shut that down. And if anything, it's more closer to like 120% right now in Card Kingdom. So I went with 130, so the weighted foil rare slot, so only if you pull a rare, but then it's already weighted for it, is $5.09. So that means that is the contribution of just like 44.87% of your foil pulls. And then the rest are just zero. I just checked my work on that. That is what it should be, unless they did something different. I mean, the foils could be triple weighted to uncommon and common. I don't know. Just to even things out, I have no idea. In fact, if I make this 21%, it drops pretty low, just saying. But let's leave it at the $5. So what is the per pack EV with the double? Because remember, 2 foils, 2 rare slot cards. Well, unsurprisingly, it's $27.63. So that is the per pack return on a $14 pack. So on average, you will make double your money back. That's why I'm really suspicious of the foil breakdown, the foil rarity breakdown. Per box EV, just multiply by 24, simple, $663. So if you were to get a box for even $350, I don't know, that might be hard to come by these days, you will make double your money back. That's why these numbers, I mean, this is how it looks if they did everything the way that they normally do it. Let's make it a little bit less than optimum. So let's just say you're not going to pull this, you're not going to pull this, you don't like variants and jackpots. 21%, and there we go. Okay, so even with something more in line with what I would think it is, if I was very pessimistic and thought that they did it very conservatively, still $447 a box, which is getting pretty close to what it is. I mean, what are they now, $390 or something on eBay? So yeah, let's reset those correct. So on the pessimistic side, you would make your money back roughly. And on the optimistic side, this is like the most valuable set ever printed. Now, I think collector's boosters and the fall off in price and I want the borderless, I don't want this, that's going to throw it off. Also, I couldn't factor in any kind of special frames because I don't even know where they are in the draft boosters. It's very clear where they are and what the prevalence is to some extent in the collector's boosters, but not the regular draft boosters. So that, unfortunately, could only make it go up. And also, I don't think this set even has showcase frames, does it? It only has etched foils and what else? You might be able to get a regular alternate art. Maybe you can open a borderless in a regular draft booster. I don't know. I could go read their miles of documentation, but half the time it's wrong anyway and people threaten a lawsuit. So this is just the basic like napkin math, whatever. What is it? Well, that's a pretty darn high number, isn't it? Very, very impressive value, just saying. But before you go throw your life savings at it, because remember, I warned you not to in the last video, I believe my exact words were, don't buy this at all, it is radioactive. Let's say you pull $600 worth from one box. That does not mean that you can bring them to the pawn shop and get $600. You know what I mean? You can't just like mail them into WotC and they'd cut you a check. That would like actually be gambling if they did that. No, you mail them into your favorite singles vendor and they cut you a check. But that's totally not gambling. Let's say by the time that your favorite singles vendor opens up buy lists, and then let's take the fact that a buy list tends to pay 60 to 70% market, and market price is going to fall off by the time you can do it, and then the collector's boosters are going to just murder the market price, and then a bunch of these and a bunch of these might just tank down to like 1/3 the value because, they haven't been reprinted in 20 years. Okay, cool. But now all of a sudden a giant supply gets dumped on the market. You could probably take this and cut it right in half, realistically. And then you're down to, oh no, I lost money on the box. So as optimistic as this looks, how are you going to get the money out of it? You've got the shipping, the insurance, your time. I mean, you open one box, you'd be lucky to make $50 profit. And that's all the time sorting, price lookups, counting, all the top loaders and the sleeves and then the packaging and the box and the, shipping insurance. Just, you're almost guaranteed to lose money even if this number said like 800. That's just how it works. So while this does look really good, it's not just some magic instant, hit the sell button in an RPG video game to get your money out of whatever you pulled. There are losses at every possible stage, and the risk of these card prices just crashing is higher than any set I have ever seen. Just because instead of, oh, here's a staple that's been reprinted 15 times, they're like, oh, here's a card that has never been reprinted. Hopefully it maintains its value. Well, whenever it's hopefully no, is pretty much how you can replace that in your head. So I guess that's enough disclaimers, but that is the number sitting right here. It is astonishingly high. I bet the collector's booster one is actually lower because it's only 4 packs, just saying. I mean, 24 packs versus 4, I don't think Borderless is worth, what would that be? 6, 7, 8 times higher? Okay, 6 times higher, 6 times 4 is 24, my gosh. But see, there's like 4 to 5 high value cards per collectors, and some are guaranteed by rarity and some are guaranteed etched and stuff. So there's really not a full multiplier, but I don't know. They're also heavily delayed and limited quantities in America in English. That's a problem. That's the big thing that might maintain this number for a little bit. So if you want to open this, get it as soon as possible, sell the singles as soon as possible, and you don't know when, so-and-so singles vendor is going to open up their buy list. You have no idea. My thinking would be with how short this is, and they want to sell singles, it would be pretty quick. But I think I've seen pretty big name ones wait like 1 to 2 weeks before they open up the buy list at all for an average set. Yikes. Especially when they think the cards are going to fall or they're seeing them falling. Because they don't want to be, the people giving really bad prices. They'd rather just give no price. So offloading these is going to be a problem. Just saying. Now, if you have a TCG or eBay account, you can sell them the same day you open them. There you go. But you're never going to sell 100%. I've opened $10,000 worth of BFG, and it still took me like a week on eBay to sell 75% of the rares. You have to keep undercutting each other by 5 cents. You have to monitor it all day. It's like a full-time job. And if you're going to resort to that, just do any other job than this, because there's way more risk in this than there is in just getting a paycheck. So don't think you're going to buy this and see this big shiny number and make money, because you're probably not. Now that said, if this is an option for price support for F&M or something, yeah, I would choose this one. Obviously. So that's about the shape of it. If you thought this helped you out, because it's a little more realistic than just some number on a page with no notes and no nothing. That's almost rhetorical at this point, but leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.